$40,000 a month in commissions in high ticket sales. For most salespeople, that's an amount of money that they dream of making. But for unicorn closers, that is the amount of money that they're making. Jacob, $486,030 in cash collected for August. He earned over $55,000 in commissions. Skylar, $41,350 in commissions. And that was a bad month for him. He's hit over $80,000 in commissions. Nicole, $47,740 in commissions. And if you see the timestamps here, 20 hours ago, 1 day ago, 2 days ago, in the last 48 hours alone, more than 3 closers inside the mastermind have already hit $40,000 in commissions. So why are the average salespeople struggling to ever hit $40,000 even after months or years as a high ticket closer? Meanwhile, unicorn closers do it like clockwork. Well, that's what I'm going to reveal in this video so that you know precisely the difference between what you are doing to not hit that amount of money versus what unicorn closers are doing to make it inevitable that they earn $40,000 a month in commissions or more. So this is the unicorn trifecta, which is what we teach inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind. It is the methodology, it is the principles, it is the philosophy that when followed to a T, as I mentioned before, make $40,000 a month in commissions inevitable. It is simple. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is very simple. Nothing I show you on this unicorn trifecta is going to blow your mind. But there are going to be things, if not all of these things, that you simply aren't doing. Because if you were doing them, you wouldn't be watching this video. So, the unicorn trifecta. Number 1, scheduled and consistent internal mastery and scriptless selling training. Now, for most high-ticket closers, there was a time when they did scheduled training, and it was consistent. And for most high-ticket closers, it was when they first got into sales. They joined a program, and they had some type of regular training scheduled in to watch videos, and they had some type of regular live training. But very quickly, that fell off by the wayside. And now, there has been weeks, months, or years of you not having scheduled and consistent training. And the scheduled and consistent training is the thing that's actually building up your skill. Your skill internally, who you are as a person, how you show up, your peak performance, and your ability to understand people and understand sales and communication. And that is why specifically I break this down into internal mastery and scriptless selling. Because to actually become better at sales, you need both. And so part of this is, do you have scheduled training? Part of it is it consistent? And part of it is, what does it entail? If you do not have all 3 of those connected into this first point here, you are not going to hit $40,000 a month in commissions consistently. So for most salespeople, there was another time in their life where they got into a sales training. Probably something happened and they were truly sick and tired of not making the money that they wanted to be making. Maybe they got into another training. But the big difference between a unicorn closer that follows the unicorn trifecta and earns the amount of money they truly want to be making, and average closers that never do, is for a unicorn, training is always scheduled. There's not months where you don't train. There also isn't months where it's not consistent. Oh, this month was a busy month, I didn't really do any training. No, it is something that they're scheduling consistently. For unicorns inside the mastermind, every Wednesday, we have a 4-hour live training. And every Friday, we have a bonus training right now where we're doing further training for an hour and a half to 2 hours. So that alone is 7 hours a week, 28 hours a month. How does that compare to how much time you're spending training? Now, that training is broken into internal mastery and scriptless selling, because the training that you're doing to learn a script is only going to take you so far. Beyond that, you need to go beyond the script. Learn people, learn communication, learn psychology, and even learn the philosophy of the deep inner workings of what sales is. So in your schedule right now, do you have access to regular training? Is it scheduled in on a week-by-week basis? How many hours is it? Then, are you actively in some type of community where you can ask questions? You have access to a mentor, you have access to a coach. That is part of scheduled and consistent training. Are you engaging with other people in your industry at the same level as you or beyond, role playing with them? Are you doing call reviews on a consistent basis? Do you have some type of homework that you need to actually adopt into your life and implement and execute so that you become better in terms of your internal mastery and in terms of the scriptless selling, which is simply to say, learning to go beyond the pre-planned questions. If you do not have that right now, I'll be honest, you're like most closers, but most closers are earning the same money as you. Is that the amount of money you want to keep earning? If you're watching this video, I can assume the answer is no. So the first one is scheduled and consistent, both internal mastery and scriptless selling training. The unicorn closers that I showed you and all the ones I didn't that are earning $20K, $30K, $40K, $50K, $60K, $80K, and $100,000 a month in sales, they are all doing this. That is the data that we have from running the Unicorn Closer Mastermind for over a year and a half. The closers that make life-changing money, they have scheduled, consistent training. Now, when we talk about scheduling and consistency, we're initially talking about right now. But the big thing that you have to realize to become a unicorn that is going to make $40,000 a month is, whilst it can happen very quickly, the downfall of most closers is that they underestimate the amount of time that you have to schedule and consistently put in training. I'm not talking about weeks or a couple months. It might be many months, maybe even a year or 2 years. So you have to realize that the scheduling and consistency is not just for the beginning of your high-ticket career, or my first 3 months. It's also not for a new training regime that you're going to do for 3 months. It is something that has to be sustained for many months or years. And if you do that, unlike the majority, you will be one of the few that actually peaks and gets to that point where you hit 30K, then 40K, then 50K, just like closers inside the Unicorn Closer Mastermind. So be aware that it is not just scheduling and training this in the here and now. It is doing that consistently over the long road. One of the things that will help you to do that and to reframe your perspective that you're on the long road is to get around individuals that are long-term thinkers. All of these young kids that are in high-ticket sales that want to get rich quick and make some money, they are, with respect, immature. They don't realize that to master anything at the highest level, which is what it requires to make a lot of money because it's competitive, it takes time. And part of taking time will be around when you look left and you look right and you see the people around you are the people beside you on a long-term journey too. Because if they are, you will feel more calm that it's taking a bit of time. And then you know what crazily happens when you actually let go trying to fight and resist that it takes time, it almost happens overnight. For example, with Jacob that I showed you at the start of this video, he went from $18,000 in commission and the very next month, $55,000. But what allowed him to take that jump was that he'd been in the mastermind for a year prior. For a year, he'd been learning and training and developing and then actually committing to the long road. And then all of a sudden, once everything clicked, which may be quicker for you, he then was able to go from $18,000 to $55,000 a month in commissions. Most high-ticket closers, when they come into sales, they can do the scheduled and consistent training because it's new. It's brand new. It's exciting. It's something cool to learn. Hey, I've invested in this program. I'm going to do my 3 months and that's it. The difference is, can they sustain it? It is not going to divide you between unsuccessful and successful what happens in the first 3 months. Neither is it going to happen the people that join another program later on that's for 3 or 4 months. It is about those that can do this consistently. Can they maintain the level of scheduled training over many months. For most high ticket closers, it goes from multiple times a week, sometimes even daily training for their first few months, down to zero. Sometimes they join another program and it goes back up to a couple of times a week, but then it goes back down to zero. What you need to do is have a certain amount of time that you're scheduling in training and sustain that for many months. That is going to determine whether you can check the first box for the unicorn trifecta. So be very clear. It's not just scheduling it in and doing it consistently. It's can you sustain that level of training? How many times a day? How many times a week? How many hours a week? What intensity of training over many months? Let's get into number 2. The energy, the state they bring moment to moment when the going gets tough, they keep going. How you show up on a daily basis, your level of resourcefulness is going to determine what happens on your sales calls and also how much you extract from life. The life experience, the training you're doing. If your energy and state is all over the place, 2 people could be doing the same training. 2 people could be going through the same experiences in life. One person is going to draw a massive amount of lessons and experience and wisdom from those experiences. The other person isn't going to get much. And not only that, they're going to have a lot of friction and a lot of discomfort and a lot of upheaval going through that day-to-day situation. So what happens? Well, this is the inevitable thing that's going to happen. At some point, and probably multiple times during your high-ticket journey, shit is going to hit the fan. It could be a health issue, could be a relationship issue, could be something with your family, could just simply be that you're finding mastering sales hard. You had a difficult prospect. You got fired on your offer. Something is going to happen that is going to rock your boat. Your energy and your state is going to be susceptible to being negative. And when you get into that negativity, everything else becomes negative. Oh, I hate sales. Oh, my prospects are all annoying. Oh, I don't really like my offer. Oh, I really don't like this sales training I'm doing. I don't really like this sales methodology. And everything starts becoming negatively viewed. And when you view things negatively, what happens? You self-sabotage. Things get even worse and you make a bad situation a terrible situation. And if you watch high-ticket closers over the months and over the years, even the ones that had potential, they were going somewhere, boom, they self-sabotage. And then they have to start again, and then boom, they self-sabotage. And the reason for that is they do not have the energy or state that they bring moment to moment to be controlled. And so how do you fix that? Well, you have to be around other people that are living at a higher standard in terms of the energy and the state. They're always trying to reframe things positively. They're always trying to support each other. They're always trying to be grateful. And the internal mastery training from point number 1 that I mentioned before, that will help you actually understand the things that you can put into your life, specific tools, practices, learnings that can help you maintain your state when inevitably something happens that is going to rock your world. Here's something that's very interesting. Having worked with a lot of sales teams and a lot of closers over a number of years now, from Alex Hormozi's old Gym Launch sales team to some of the top sales organizations that you've probably heard of, training sales teams through the Unicorn Closer Mastermind, and obviously working with individual closers, the top closers, the ones that actually hit the biggest amounts of money, they are the ones that have had the biggest life challenges, whether it's family, kids, relationships, health challenges, financial challenges. The ones that actually became the most successful, they weren't the ones that just luckily didn't go through many bad challenges. They're the ones that went through those challenges and they were probably more severe. But the difference between those closers and the ones that don't make it, whether they had any challenges at all or none, is that the ones that become super successful financially and personally, they figure it out simply because their energy and state that they bring moment to moment is one of resourcefulness. If you do not have this, if you do not cultivate this, with the community of people that you're around that are all on a mission to become the type of person that can maintain a positive, resourceful energy and state consistently, it is just going to be a matter of time until something hits the fan for you and you self-sabotage. And when you self-sabotage, there are many circumstances in life where the amount backwards that it takes you is unrecoverable. Maybe it would just take you so long to recover that the opportunity you had is gone. Or maybe it's pushed you so far back that you just give up. And so it is critical to ever get ahead and to become super successful, to become a unicorn, that you cultivate and practice your moment-to-moment energy and state. So that is number 2. Now, number 3, last but not least, being on a unicorn offer. It doesn't matter if you have scheduled and consistent training and you have the right energy and state that you bring moment to moment if you are earning $200 or $300 per commission. You also need to be on an offer that you feel aligned with, that you have a massive amount of respect for the business owner and the offer itself. You need to be on an offer that has world-class results. You need to have a packed calendar. If you have the first 2, but you have not got the final third one, you will not hit $40,000 very easily, if at all. In other words, maybe you could do it if you were working 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. But as you already know, if you were to do something like that, number 1, it's not going to be sustainable. And number 2, you will probably suffer in the other areas of your life. So you may have got ahead for 30 days financially, but now you've gone backwards in other areas of your life. And ultimately, you're then going to have to rebalance it, which is going to shrink your income again. You have to have an offer where when you wake up, the majority of the time, you have a packed calendar. You have to be getting on calls where you know that the prospects have seen world-class results. You have to be selling something that you feel ethically aligned to, that you maybe even do yourself, that you're aligned with energetically. You think it's cool what you sell. I've had times in my sales career where I sold something that I thought was so boring and not interesting to me that whilst I had results for a month or 2, it was not sustainable for me because I just checked out. I didn't want to have conversations about this or that all day long. And so you have to make sure, if you want to be a unicorn that can consistently make a massive amount of money, $40,000 or more a month, that your choice of offer is something that you actually want to be selling on. And then finally, the price point. You have to make sure that on average, you are earning somewhere between $700 and $1,400 per sale. If you do not have that ballpark amount of money per sale, hitting numbers like $40,000, $50,000, $80,000, and $100,000 a month in commissions is very, very difficult because you don't have leverage. So those are the 3 things that you need to follow to have a shot at becoming a unicorn closer, like the unicorn closers in the mastermind, and therefore being able to earn $40,000 a month in commissions. Now, these are all very simple, but I'm not here to say it's easy. There are going to be times where you don't want to do your scheduled, consistent training. You don't want to invest in yourself. You don't want to stay in a good state when things are tough or something bad happens. You might find it really difficult to get on a unicorn offer right now because you're not at a point where you're generating the results to be able to have the pick of the bunch. But you being able to overcome these challenges, or should I say, you choosing whether you want to and are committed to overcoming these challenges, are the necessary steps to aligning yourself to this whole trifecta and being able to earn the money that you truly want to be earning. And so when it comes to earning $40,000 a month in commissions, literally all you have to do is nail these 3 things. As I said, I'm not saying it's easy, but it is simple. If you want to get around other unicorns that are all aligning to this unicorn trifecta, and be around other unicorn closers that are on that path of scheduled, consistent training, that are on that path of self-development and personal excellence to maintain a good energy and state, which is much easier when you're around other people that are supporting you, that are on the same mission as you. If you want to align with a mastermind that has access to unicorn offers when you get to a point that you've proved yourself, then click the link below this video and join the Unicorn Closer Mastermind. You can try implementing these things on your own, but if you want the shortcut or the accelerated version, doing it alongside other people is going to be the way. The closers who you see crushing it and getting the results and earning the money that you want to be earning, they're simply just doing these three things. There isn't any rocket science to it. So the question is, how much of these three things are you doing? All of them? All three? Two of them? One of them? And then the question is, if you are not doing all three of them, which I know you're not because you're not earning the money you truly want to be earning, what are you going to do about it, and when are you going to do it? If the answer is, I'm going to align myself with this unicorn trifecta now, and I'm going to do that starting today, you know what you need to do. That is what this trifecta of closers are all doing. Jacob earned more than $55,000 this month in commissions. Skylar, $41,000 in commissions this month. And Nicole, $47,740 this month in commissions. And there are many other closers inside the mastermind earning more than that. And there are also many earning less than that are on their way to align themselves with all three of those pieces of the unicorn closer trifecta. But all three of these closers have hit more than $40,000 in the last 48 hours. So the question is, why not you? Well, now you know exactly what you need to change if you want to hit more than $40,000 a month in commissions like these unicorn closers. You need to follow the unicorn closer trifecta. Again, if you want help with doing that, if you want to get around these unicorn closers that are all doing that, click the link below this video and I'll see you on the inside.